All right, everybody. I haven't done a Facebook Live in a little bit, but this one really is just a kind of like a heads up concerns. What I usually do, just so I can prep for the week ahead before the market opens on Sundays. And by the way, before I go forward, I want to wish everybody out there who's a dad, happy Father's Day to you. Today is Father's Day. But what I typically do to prep for the week ahead is I will actually go to my app, one of the apps that I use a lot, which is called My FX Book. There are others like at Forex Factory and stuff like that. But really, it takes me a matter of 5 minutes or less. And so what I do as part of my preparation before the week before the market opens, and I get all emotional and stuff like that, caught up in the trades. One of the wise things that I do, or I consider wise, is while markets are not even open, things are calm, I take a look at what the market is offering as far as news events for the week ahead. So I wanted to present to you guys what my concerns are for this week because this week seems like it's very heavy with a lot of important news for many different currency pairs. So I'm going to just mention a few of them, not in detail. Go ahead to my FX book, click on the option that says this week, okay, and it'll show you all the news events coming up for this week ahead. Oh, thank you. Hi, hello, thank you for the happy Father's Day. All right, so I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of what I see for this week. It is very concerning to me, which is why I'm doing this video. Again, I haven't done a Facebook Live in a little bit, but this week seems very concerning. I'm going to be sharing this with my group, but I thought about just doing it for my group only, but there's a lot of traders, whether you're in my group or not, doesn't matter. It's still going to affect some of your guys' trades because one of the things I'm a strong believer of is that when you're trading in the markets, 50% of it has to do with the trading system you're operating in, and the other 50% is knowing why the market or the price action is doing what it's doing. Okay, and oftentimes you can have perfect setups, but there may be a lot of spikes that's happening. Hey, everybody, those in the group, Uncle P. Yeah, hey guys, hi y'all, and happy Father's Day to you guys. Okay, so here's the truth. My concern is 50% is about the trading system or whatever indicators, whatever you use, that's fine. But the other 50%, like I teach our group in our live trade sessions, is knowing what news events or what is impacting the currency pair, causing it to fluctuate in the way that it does. Sometimes you'll notice that currency pairs can move very strategically in a smooth path, and other times they're very sporadic, they're acting crazy, right? This week, I believe personally that certain pairs are going to have a lot of craziness going on. And so for me personally, I usually like to swing trade and hold my trades for days at a time and stuff like that. This week, I probably won't do it. Let me go over a couple of things, okay? Number one, GBP. The GBP has some very nice setups on our charts, and I did see that. And I was excited for the setups until I saw what news is coming out. This week, it's not a healthy time. Oh, Uganda in the house. Hey, all right, thank you. This week is not a healthy week for the GBP. There's news coming out tonight on it, but this week coming up is extensively heavy news coming out on the GBP. So in my personal opinion, I don't think if you're going to try to swing trade, it's not a wise time to do so. Okay, and this is just my opinion. Again, everybody do what you want to do and everything else, but I'm just saying preserve capital. Matter of fact, personally for me, we in our group, we have a particular trading method called the now later. I'll probably be doing some now laters for those who's in the group, which I see certain people comment and you're in the group. I'll probably be sticking to a lot of now later trades, if any, at all this week. It's good to preserve your capital. You may see a lot of good setups, but oftentimes because of news events or shakiness in the markets, nervousness in the markets, it may not act according to the normal setup patterns. Even if you're a person who like to trade the market makers methods and all these different things, when there's uncertainty in currency pairs, a lot of times they'll act really retarded. Well, that's not a proper word. They'll act really unorthodox is a better way of saying it. Okay, they will act really unorthodox. Okay, they just do not fit in any pattern, any price, normal price structure, and so forth. Okay, so I'm just advising you to be very careful. Be very careful this week on the GDP pairs. They have some news coming out tonight. They have heavy news coming out on Wednesday, and they have even more important heavy news like interest rate news coming out on Thursday. I don't fool with interest rate news. I stay away from it. My thing is, if you have a strategy and you want to go ahead and do that for news events, go ahead and do your thing. Me, I'm not that big of a risk taker. I like to just trade comfortably and know that I can walk away from my trades and I can sleep in peace. That's the way I like to trade. So since I don't feel comfortable with it, there's a beautiful setup for me using our system and those in our group, the Euro GBP. I see a lovely, perfect setup. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I would love to hold on to it and everything else, but when I glanced into news this week, I said, oh no, it's not even worth it. So I'll just close that down and just wait till next week and let things do what they do. Okay. Next, you have the AUD has some news coming out now. It doesn't have a lot of them because one of the things that's going to be coming out is the RBA minutes, which is basically going over the interest rate news and why they made the interest rate announcements they did last week. So it could have a little spark fire. It could, but it may not because it's not an interest rate announcement. It's more of like they're discussing what they stated last week about the interest rates. But either way it goes, just a heads up on that. Okay, it's a red envelope on there, so pay attention. Next, this is very, very important, critically important, critically important, critically important. Let me say it one more time, critically important. The Fed interest rate, US Fed interest rate news is coming out this week. Okay, that means the USD may not be acting like it normally would because typically when it's NFP news week or interest rate news weeks, okay, that's going to rock the interest rate news in many different currency pairs across the world. Okay, some interest rate news that are announced only affect small countries, so it's not that big of a ripple. But when it's something like the Fed interest rate news on the USD, which impacts several other currency pair correlations, there's a lot of sparks that go on. So that Fed interest rate news is coming out this week. And so I really don't think there's going to be a lot of, and again, let me say this, I'm not Mr. Expert. I don't know all things. So do your own due diligence, trade however you like, dislike. I really don't care. It's your account. Do what you want to do. But I'm just sharing as a fellow trader what I've noticed on this week that's coming up that can impact your trades. And so I know that when NFP week, non-farm payroll for newbies, and interest rates for the USD comes out, oh yeah, there's going to be some problems, okay, in my personal opinion and in my experience. But again, trade however you feel, okay? The other one that's on the same exact day is the JPY. The yen is going to also have interest rate news coming up this week on the same day as the Feds, okay, for the US, okay? That's a double whopper. So do you guys see the GDP is having problems this week? You're going to have the AUD who has a small announcement, may not be that big of an impact, who knows, we'll see. But then you also have the Feds coming out for the USD, you had the JPY coming out, oh, and there's another. CAD has a lot of news coming out on Wednesday. Okay, or what's that? Yeah, on Wednesday. There's a lot of CAD news coming out on Wednesday. Okay, so again, more news issues. Then you had the NZD coming out. I think theirs is interest rate news or something like that. I forgot what I saw for them, but that's coming out on Thursday. So collectively, as you guys can see, what I'm trying to share with you is this week is not one of the best weeks, in my personal opinion, to look for swing trade setups. Okay. And in my group, you know what we talk about when we talk about Stairmaster strategy, okay? This week, it's not one of those that I would really strongly be looking at it because it's kind of like and of course the Euro always have some kind of news. They have many different red envelopes coming out this week with news. So realistically, there's very few currency pairs that will not have some news coming out this week on them. So it's kind of going to look like a very sporadic week. I've seen somebody comment saying a yo-yo week, and that's true. So if that's the case, here's what professional traders will do. They will either, get in and get out on certain trades. You can use the now later strategy for those in the group this week. And again, I'm sorry, my camera blurring up. You can do whatever you decide to do because everything we just kind of guide you, but you make your own choices, right? Yeah, somebody said study, study, study. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm doing this week. I was actually up until about 2 o'clock in the morning last night just studying. I'm still a student of this game, so I was up studying. I was laying in the bed, had my headphones in my ear so I wouldn't disturb my wife, but I was up just going back through some of my mentors and looking at videos and just study, study, study. And so therefore what I might do is I might trade lightly or I might not trade at all. I might just take the week off. It's better for you to preserve your capital than to rush into the market foolishly and you lose your money trying to get into a bombshell of a situation. It's kind of like, why would you go into a landmine situation talking about you want to throw a party expecting not to get blown up? It doesn't make sense. So again, do what you want to do with your accounts. Everybody's grown and responsible, but I'm just on camera, which I haven't done in a long time. I haven't done a Facebook Live, but I'm just giving you advice that even if you're in my group, not in my group, I really don't care. If you're a trader, we're all one big family anyway, because guess what? If I win a trade, that means somebody on the other side lost a trade. If I lose a trade, somebody on the other side won the trade. Whether they're in our group or not in our group doesn't make a difference. So either way it goes, we're all connected together in this universal language called Forex. Okay, so as a fellow member of your family in the Forex world, I'm just giving you advice because I'm not trying to take advantage of you. I'm just giving you advice on what I see in the markets and why I'm concerned about this week. So again, do what you want to do, but as your fellow brother in this journey of Forex, I'm just giving you warning that this is not a great week that you want to start trading heavily. Okay, scalpers, I'm not a big fan of always scalping, but but I will do this for those in our group. The flip flop. I think that would be do the now later this week and stick with flip flopping. Okay, the flip flop method. Both of those for those who's not in our group. That's our scalping strategies. We have two. So stick with those two, but do not do the swing trade method, in my personal opinion, and stay away from the stairmaster, because even if you're right, and here's the concern, even if you're right in the direction, okay? Because oftentimes when news announcements come out, they're going to play for the most part, they will play in accordance with the higher time frames. So you could be right. I'm not concerned about whether I can be right on the direction of it. What my concern is that these wickety whack stop hunt candles is going to come out. If you have not been paying attention long enough, you'll notice that when big events come out, you could have been exactly right on the direction. But the problem is that they will send out these huge candles in both directions, bow, bow, both directions. And they're taking out as much money as possible. So even if you were right and you didn't have a big enough stop loss or whatever, they're still going to take your stop loss off. Then they're going to take off the reversals. The other people on the other side hit them as well, and then the candle will settle down and resume in the direction it was supposed to go. So realistically, if you're going to trade any of these pairs, just wait until after that particular pair's news events is over, and then take a look and see if there's something favorable for you to jump in on for a swing trade or a stairmaster, or and I know some people who's tuned in, you don't know what that means. Don't worry about it. It's for those in the group, because we have strategies for that. But if you're just a person who's just trading and you like to swing trade, okay, just wait till after your particular pairs are done with the news and they have settled down, and then you start looking. But before then, it is not wise to do so. Okay, this is just my opinion on a Sunday. Happy Father's Day to everybody. I'm out of here. I just wanted to, like I said, I haven't done a Facebook Live in a long time. I mean, a YouTube Live in a long time, because I'm just, it's just something that I'm not just going to jump on here just to have something to say, just so I can try to be popular. It's not about popularity. It's about giving you guys something worthwhile. And so I thought today this is worthwhile to share with you guys the concerns that I see. But again, you can verify all this for yourself. Just go to my FX book. It's an app. You can download it, or go to Forex Factory news events, whatever is your flavor. But just look at what's going on for this week. It's very heavily situated against the traders, the retail traders, I'll say, not bankers. They know what to do in advance. But the retail traders, if you jumping in and you don't know what's going on, you're going to have a tough time. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to preserve your capital. So the wisest thing to do, again, is if you don't have a plan in place, why don't you just take the week off? It's okay. The markets will always be there, but your money may not be if you're foolish. Okay? Have a great weekend. And if you're a father, happy Father's Day again. Bye.